to the Real Estate Scripts Podcast, the show that helps you know what to say when you're talking to buyers and sellers so that you can close more deals and earn more money. I'm Darren Tunstall, a real estate professional, coach, and #1 best-selling author. Let's get into this. Before we begin today's episode, I want to clarify some important points. I am a licensed real estate agent and my DRE number is 018534445. It's crucial to note that this podcast operates independently of my affiliation with Keller Williams Realty and any realtor associations. My primary goal with this podcast is to provide you, our listeners, with valuable information, insights, and practical tools. As a reminder, the purpose of Scripts and Dialogues is to come, learn, practice, and be prepared to fail forward. This is where we make mistakes and help each other out, but we're mostly interested in seeing how we can get better. First, we read through the script word for word, and then we go back and put it into our own natural tone, style, and phrasing. You won't know what to say until you go through the script. So, with that said, many people will say, that's not how I sound, and I totally get it. That's not how you sound. But that is the reason why we practice every day, so that the script becomes you and in your own voice. So, read it word for word first, then go back and put it into your own natural tone, style, and phrasing, and I think it'll work out. Today's script is about, I have a friend who is in the business, and I'll set this up. You are at an appointment with a homeowner to discuss listing their home for sale. After you give your presentation, they object to working with you because they have a real estate agent friend who said they can sell their home. Requirements are strong communication and negotiation skills, in-depth knowledge of the local real estate market, the ability to educate and address client concerns, and persuasive and empathetic demeanor. The intention is to overcome the objection so that they will list with you. This week is more about, it's focused on seller objections, but it's more or less the more common seller objections. There's other types of objections that happen, like within the transaction, within the negotiation process, within the contract to close process. There's stuff in the very beginning, but like this is more of a beginning phase type one and more common stuff that comes up. Everybody knows someone in real estate. Who wants to start us out today?
I guess I'll go. Why not?
All right, Jaman, we'll have you talk to Brant, and then we'll have Brant go to Emily, and then Emily will talk to you. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go. All right. All right. Hey, Brant, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. And I do understand, you know, your objections that you do have a friend. And usually most people I talk to have a friend or two in the business in most cases. The friend is only one part of a real estate agent. See, I highly recommend you picking an agent who is the best person for the job. All right. And so, in friendships, they should be separated because this is one of the biggest decisions in your life. Would you agree with that, Brent?
I would.
So, you want someone who is a full-time and lives and breathes real estate. And I'm going to tell you, that's me. And besides, do you want your friends to know all your personal business, including your finances?
Not necessarily, but this friend that I used, or that I'm thinking of using for this transaction, I used on a previous transaction. So they already know all of that information.
So they already know all your ins and outs of your finances then. So you're comfortable. Now, I totally understand that. Now, and I couldn't agree with you more as far as you want to keep your friend as your agent. But here's a question that I pose to you. Now, wouldn't it make sense though for you to, like, sometimes friends in business, they get crossed up, and wouldn't you want to keep your friendship separate? So, because this buying a house is a very tricky thing. and it's a lot that goes into it. And you definitely want to deal with someone who that's just what they do. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And you know, and the majority of people I work with choose to keep business and friendships separated. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think different things have worked for different people. I guess I just, outside of the fact that friendships should be separated from business, if there are, working relationships, sorry, this car is going off. Um, if there are kind of already established like working relationships with that friend that I have, why should I
Mm-hmm.
switch over to somebody else?
Get it. Totally get that one. What you know, at the end of the day, Brent, if you want to go with your friend, now that definitely that choice is yours. However, let me pose this to you. With me, you will get professionalism without judgment. I am the best person for the job. I am also willing to call your friend and let them know that you signed with me, and they are welcome to bring a buyer. Is that something that you think about? You might actually that you might like,
Yeah.
because that way you don't have to deal with telling your friend no, not going to use you. I could do all that hard work for you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that could be uncomfortable.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a good solution to that.
Ah, awesome, man. Well, I found that it's better received if I call for you. Now, let's do the right thing and get your home listed and sold. I have I have an agreement, and then I can either email that to you, or we can sit down for coffee or something, and we can get all that handled. How do you what you think is the best for you?
Yeah, I think we should get coffee and discuss.
Okay. How does Monday at 9 o'clock sound?
Sounds great.
Okay, I'll see you then.
See you then.
All right.
All right. So he threw you a little bit of a curveball, which is nice. But before we talk about that, I want to mention that the car horn going off, there's no need to be sorry. This is real life. You're sitting in a meeting, cars go off all the time,
Dogs bark.
horns, dogs bark, I mean, sirens go, you
Yeah.
got people with TV in the background. This is real life scenario. We're not trying to make this a perfect world,
I guess,
so it
do you
happens.
continue, like, if you were in an actual meeting with the client, is it better, have you found, to like address it and then like brush past, or not even mention it and just
You mean
pretend like
you
it's not
you mean
happening?
like if a car is going by, you mean? Like, or I mean if a
Yeah, or
car
like if an alarm is going off or something, like,
well, assess the situation. If an
yeah,
alarm's going off, number one,
yeah,
what kind of an alarm is it? Is it
yeah,
a building alarm? Get the heck out, you know?
right,
If it's
right,
if it's a test, acknowledge the fact, hey, there's apparently some test going on today. Give us a minute to let that thing go by. If there's an airplane going by, you know what? Let's just let this thing go by real quick. Minute goes by. Or if there's a car horn, look out the window. Oh, looks like something's going on. Robbie's in trouble again. So whatever, just acknowledge the fact, whatever, but if it's a dangerous situation, obviously stop and say, you know what,
right.
we need to continue this later. But my point is life happens every day. Planes fly over, cars honk, dogs bark, you know, um, people might pop in here and there. Hey, just asking, want to ask you a quick question. It's life,
Yeah,
and that's really the point of this particular of this practice is things happen and they're out of our control sometimes. What we can control is the questions that we ask. That being said, let's go back over to the question that you asked, or the situation that you proposed to Jaman, which is, yeah, you do have a friend in the family, and I think one of the natural questions to ask to ask in return is, well, how did it go with your friend?
mm,
You know,
Mm.
I think we should ask that. How was it working with your friend? Did is it something that you would do again? If not, why? Just really dig in a little bit deeper and so that you have a little bit more information to be able to respond accordingly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the other question that I am wondering is, okay, you have a friend, but you're sitting here with me.
Mm.
You're having a conversation with me. Why aren't you having a conversation with your friend yet? So he's obviously open to talking to other people right now.
Hmm. Would you ask that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just say that, like, I can't help but notice that you seem to be at least interested in speaking with other people about this, simply given the fact that you and I are sitting here having this discussion about it right now.
Hmm.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I love the word it seems like. And that's actually a technique from Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, the FBI negotiator. It seems like, it feels like, it sounds like. And if they come back at you by using one of those phrases and they come back at you and say, no, that's not true. Yeah, I didn't think it was. It just seems like it was, but it kind of gives
Hmm.
you an out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it doesn't come off as being rude or aggressive in any way.
Hmm.
All right, cool. Anything else to add to that? Like other questions that we might come back as a when someone does it, asks says, "Yeah, I don't mind my friend knowing everything about me." Maybe they do. We didn't find out. So, all right, Brant, you ready to talk to Emily?
Yes, Emily. Usually, most of the people that I talk to have a friend or two who are in the business. And in most cases, this friend is a part time agent. Can I ask, is your friend a part time or a full time agent?
Oh, I don't know. She does it all the time, so I guess she's full time. I have never asked her that.
Okay. Yeah. I think that I would highly recommend picking an agent who is going to be the best person for the job. And I certainly know that I value my friendships. However, in that case, I do also think that friendships should be separated from one of the biggest financial decisions that an individual will ever make in your life. I think it kind of, you do want somebody who is not only going to be able to connect with you on a personal level about the sale, but also is going to be able to be the most professional and give you the highest quality of service.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be somebody who, works full time and lives and breathes real estate. Do you, can I ask, do you care about or want this individual particular friend knowing everything that there is to know about your business financials?
Mm, that's kind of a good point. Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that that sentiment is kind of echoed in a lot of the other people that I've worked with. The majority of people I work with choose to keep business and friendship independent of each other. I've seen instances where it works well. And I mean, at the end of the day, we want you to be the happiest and feel the most confidence going into this super major decision. So, of course, the choice at the end of the day is yours.
Yeah, I don't know you, and my friend, I've known her for like 30 years, so I trust her to do what's best for me.
Yeah. And that makes sense. And I think that, with me, you would get a degree of professionalism without judgment. And I know, based off of the experience that I have and the team that I've been working with, that I am the best person for the job. I would also love to get in contact with your friend. And even if you choose to continue working with them, obviously, because you have a more trust-based relationship with them. I would still love to collaborate and potentially bring forth buyers that could be a part of the pool as well, because we want to make sure that we're helping you out in this case.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know. I suppose if you want their number, or you want my
Yes.
agent's phone number?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, and any listings that they bring to you, I would also love to, add to that pool.
Okay, so you want to bring a buyer. You don't want to represent me as a selling agent. That's what you're asking?
I guess, does the situation specify? Oh, it's the homeowner. Okay. So erase that last part because you are not the buyer. But if you wanted to have me search for some buyers for you as well, I would be happy to. And then I think it would be beneficial. Have you had by chance a meeting yet with your friend to kind of go over the financials and the specifics of how this process is going to work?
Well, I know that she's been doing it for a while. I've never worked with her as far as buying a home, but I kind of mentioned that, I'm probably going to sell my home in the next couple months. And she's like, let me take care of you. We're really good friends. I'll do a great job, but nothing specific as to what she's going to do to sell my home. No.
Right. So if she hasn't given you any of those specifics, I would love to sit down potentially for a quick coffee or maybe even a Zoom meeting with you where I can discuss specific strategies and ways in which I'm going to try to get your home sold to the best buyer for you.
Okay.
And I have faith in the sort of tried and true methods that I have used and that I found that my team has used in transactions. And so, of course, I think it would be beneficial for you to sit down in a meeting with me where I can discuss some of the strategies that I would go over in trying to get your home sold. And then you can sit down with your friend and see her process. And then that way you'd be able to make the best determination for yourself on who you believe is going to do the best job.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. So would you be willing to get coffee to kind of go over your potential sale tomorrow at 9?
Actually 9 o'clock, I'm busy. I can do it in the afternoon.
That works perfectly.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, a couple of things. One, we're there to get a signature before we leave. That's what we want. We want to get that appointment before we leave, because I guarantee you, here's what's going to happen. That night, she's going to go and talk to her friend, most likely sign with her friend, and that appointment's going to be canceled the next day.
Yep.
So that's one thing.
And you don't want to meet for coffee. You want to come to my house.
Yes. When you're,
You want to see my house.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you're selling a home, you go to the house. When you're working with the buyer, they come to you at the office.
Yeah.
Or a mutual location like coffee shop or whatever. But
yeah,
because you're selling the house, you have to see it.
Yeah.
And when you go and see it, you're going to bring some information. You're going to bring the AVID. You're going to bring the residential listing agreement. You're going to have them sign to work with you right there. And then you're also going to do your agent visual inspection disclosures while you were there.
You're going to know the history of the house, how much I owe on it, what size lot I have, square footage, taxes, all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. The point is, get the signature there. You got a little twisted up there, but you got back on track. No worries about that.
Yep.
And
I would say my opinion is stick to the script the first time, and then then elaborate on your own.
That was kind of what I was trying to do with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did a really good job.
absolutely.
You did a really good job. And by the way, I just want to point out that you've done a good job at eliminating kind of.
Been
That's pretty
trying.
good. Pretty good. Now there's another one though that keeps on popping up for you, and I just want to note it. You say try a lot. And when you use phrases like, we're gonna try to get your home sold, we're gonna try to do this, that's a lack of confidence in what you can do. So we
We
will
are
do
going to get your home sold. We're going to find the best buyer for your home.
we're
There you go.
yeah. Yeah, just coming across a lot more confident because that's what they want. They want somebody who is going to come in, do the job.
I guess if somebody like Emily in that situation is very insistent on working with their friend, how would you have approached that differently? Because you said that the goal is to get them to sign. I didn't see an into that didn't feel pushy to me. That didn't feel like me being like desperate and like overbearing, like just trying to get them a signature if they clearly want to work with somebody else. So how would you like approach that differently?
Well, number one, I would ask. You didn't ask for her to sign.
I guess, but if they're saying, oh, I really think that I want to work with my friend, how do you get them to a point where you're building enough value for yourself that they're willing to? Because if I was expressing to somebody that I was not sure and I didn't know if I wanted to use my friend or not, and they were like really just trying to get me to sign something, that would be an immediate turnoff for me for doing business with them. At least I know. So how would you get to that point without it being like,
Or what's your closer? Like,
over?
how would you close that?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I'm
so,
asking.
so a couple of things. One, we're throwing you into the middle of a conversation already. You would have also done the presentation at this point too. You would have described everything that you're going to do to market their home and to get it home sold for the most amount of money. So using what you would have already done, which is not displayed in this conversation here, you could also go back and say, now that you've seen everything that I'm going to do with your past experience with your friend, how does this compare to what they have done? That's one thing you can do. You know, what are some of the things that you like about my plan versus anybody else's that you've seen? And again, they are like using your own words. I can't help but notice, but it seems like you're open to working with other people because you're sitting here with me today.
Yeah.
Just asking the questions: who, what, when, why, where, and how, and then coming up with a solution as far as how you're going to approach it, how you're going to frame that conversation so that they do want to work with you. I mean, we just got to dig. Again, we're in a very small conversation here within the big picture because we would have done the presentation, we would have shown them the CMAs, we would have have already done the interview sheet, looked at their home, walked through it, all that jazz as
And if they
well.
were willing to do all of that with you, I guess that's, would this conversation ever even arise? Because it seems like if somebody's willing to go through all of that with you, wouldn't the conversation of, oh, I'm not sure if I want to go with my friend, wouldn't that be happening way before you've presented
Maybe,
all of this information?
maybe not. Maybe they think that you're going to get, a lower commission with you. Maybe they're going to try and talk you down. That's the next objection. So maybe they're just feeling it out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think what's happening.
Or maybe they're going to take advantage of you because they think you're a new agent. That's what they, in their mind. Oh, he's new. He's going to, try and get my business. I'll see how low he'll go or whatever. Maybe they want to keep calling you constantly. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So you have to read the room. It depends on who's in front of you. It's going to be different every time. You can't put this in a box, and because you're right, this may not ever happen, but if it does, this is how you're going to address it.
And to add on to that, just because you have a friend in the business doesn't mean that the friend is going to give you a discount either.
Right.
In fact, I highly recommend that if you're working with a friend, that you don't discount your services, your value.
Mm-hmm.
So if by working with your friend, you think you're going to get a discount, or if they're working you over for a lower rate, again, like what Emily just said, you have to really read the room on that, determine where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And ultimately, you do have to ask. The other thing I wanted to add, by the way, you do a great job. Okay, don't take all of this as very just changing up a few things here and there. One thing I wanted to ask, like, would you be open to, or when you said, would you be willing to have a cup of coffee? I would rephrase that in something like, how open are you to meeting up, either at your house or for a cup of coffee? In this situation, you want to go to their house anyways. Actually, in this situation, you should already be at their house. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're already in the meeting with them.
Right.
Correct.
This
Yeah,
point?
you've
Okay.
done the presentation. Yeah, we're breaking this up into small conversations that happen within the overall presentation. And they can come before, they can come after, somebody can call you and say, you know what, I loved everything that you had to say, but I have a friend, and then you got to deal with it over the phone too. So it just it can happen at different moments, but you want to do your job so well during the presentation that there is no question, and you've already got them signed before you walk away from their house. Yeah, and sometimes I feel like and we all do this, okay? Sometimes I feel like let me just put it that way. Sometimes I feel like we want to explain more because we feel like we need to sell ourselves more. And that's not necessarily the case. It's asking questions and then being silent and let them speak.
And at the end of the day, if they want to go with their friend, they're going to go with their friend, but you have to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's have Emily talk to Jamon, and then we'll be finished.
Okay. So, Jamon, that most people I talk to have a friend or two.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't explain this in the very beginning. But the client actually starts it, because remember, we're in that presentation and Jamon saying, you know what? I love everything you have to say, but I have a friend in the business.
Okay. Go ahead, Jamon.
Oh, you know what, Emily? I really love the whole presentation and everything you have to say, but I have a friend in the business and I'm thinking about going with them.
Well, you know what, Jamon? Everyone has a friend in the business. I'm discovering that, more often. But most of the time their friend is only a part-time real estate agent. And I highly recommend picking an agent who's the best for the job.
I can understand that. Me and my friend were really close, though. I mean, like we've grown up together, and I really respect them. I highly respect them.
And I appreciate that. And friendships should be separate, I think, because this is one of the biggest decisions in life you're going to make. So if anything goes sideways, I would hate to see it drive a wedge into your friendship. you also want someone who's full-time and lives and breathes real estate like I do. So besides, do you want your friends to know all your personal business, including your financial status?
You got a good point. I mean, we're close, but we're not that close. I don't think I want them to know everything that I'm doing.
Okay, well, I couldn't agree with you more on that. And the majority of people I work with choose to keep their business and their friendships separate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, Jamon, if you want to go with your friend, the choice is absolutely yours. However, with me, you'll get professionalism without judgment. I'm the best person for the job. I've been doing this for some time. I'm also willing to call your friend if you like and let them know that you've signed with me and that they're welcome to bring a buyer.
Well, let me ask you this, Emily. If that's something that you would actually do, what I mean, we've gotten this far. What do you think? With your experience and everything, how do you feel that you would really do better than my friend? Like I don't really want to tell them that I don't want to work with them because they're counting on this commission.
Right. Well, if you like Jamon, we can give him a referral fee if you want to do that. But after
Okay.
seeing my presentation, don't you think it's pretty strong that I can get the most amount of money in the least amount of time for your home and get you moving off to Phoenix?
I do. I actually do. I was really impressed with it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that feedback. And I'm totally open to calling your friend and saying, hey, introducing myself, letting him know that I've spoken to you and you've decided to sign with me. And he's welcome to send that referral agreement. And that way he doesn't, there's still something that he gains from our transaction. He can also bring the buyer if he wants to. How does that sound?
That sounds like a deal. If you're willing to call them, then I think this could be a deal right here. We can go ahead and move forward.
Okay, well, let me have you sign right here. Here's a pen. Thank you so much for putting your trust in me. And I'll give him a call and then we'll get started on getting your home sold, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Emily.
Have a great day, Jamon. It was so nice meeting with you today. You have a lovely home.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that?
I feel okay about that.
What do you think, Jamon?
She was very smooth, very, very um, I think she was very solid with the presentation,
Thank you.
because I was convinced.
I would agree. I thought it sounded good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, a couple of things about it. It was really good. So good job. The only thing that I would question is giving out a referral too early by offering referral to their friend, which is to me is definitely one of the techniques that we would use, but I would keep it probably third on the list.
Okay.
Number one, I would say he's more than welcome to bring a buyer, like you said. Okay. And they can get paid that way. Number two is how about I do the deal? How about I do the deal here? And since you're moving to Phoenix, then let's have your friend refer you to the realtor in Phoenix, and then they can get paid a referral fee that way. And if there's still some pushback, you know what, Jamon? I'll tell you what. Since you won't be using your friend, I'll call your friend and I will offer them a referral fee. And usually standards is 25%, but it's really whatever you decide to come up with together. And it might be dependent on how they came to you. I mean,
Right.
were they truly were they referred to you by another agent, or did Jamon reach out to you?
That's true, because if you're already being referred.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Darren.
We're done. Sorry. Go ahead.
So at the end there, the last sentence, the sign here, would you ever explain to them what they're signing and then to kind of work them into signing it?
Well, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, you're kind of already going
Oh,
through
you
all of
already did.
this.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
You've done the presentation. You're now have the listing agreement in front of them. You're going through it and they're asking you questions throughout this.
As you're going through, right.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds good.
Anything else to add? Anybody want to note anything or any ahas in this that you want to express out loud? Brant, looks like you were going to say something.
I was just saying these have been informative, and definitely useful. So I appreciate that you hold these because I think that this is good practice.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So we're going to keep on doing it every day.
Awesome. Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys tomorrow.
See you
See
tomorrow.
ya.
All right, so that's the script. I hope that you found it useful. Just head over to realestatescriptspractice.com for more resources and downloads. This podcast is for the purpose of education only, and it does not make any guarantees. We suggest you seek out the help of your broker, coach, mentor, CPA, or attorney. Brought to you by Darren Tunstall, California DRE number 018534445.